Hey, welcome to a brand new episode of Geeks from the Multiverse podcast. And we are going to be talking about Metal Gear. That's right. Metal Gear is the game that gave us cardboard boxes, cyborg ninjas, psychic bosses, vampires, giant walking tanks, and the ability to ruin our health bar by smoking cigarettes. We're talking about the series that made stealth cool and asking if Hideo Kojima was one of game's greatest creative minds. So let's get geeky.
We're geeks from the multiverse. We've come to unite all geeks. Now it's time to get geeky and dive right in, 'cause we're geeks from the multiverse.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am one of your hosts, Grumpy Beard, and with me, as always,
Captain Mustache. How are you doing, y'all?
wow, that was aggressive.
He's like, where'd you go from this to that? That's a little aggressive. Yes. No, I know. It's okay. But anyways, yes. Before we get into Metal Gear, of course, we're going to do a little quick CTA action here. So, yes, of course, follow, interact, subscribe, tell your friends just like you normally do. And then, of course, you can always check out our website, geeksfromthemultiverse.com. Look at all of our cool stuff on there. Like, of course, our merch store, Matt's books that he's trying to sell, trying to be a best-selling author on a New York Times list. No, I'm joking. He's like, maybe one day. And of
I
course,
would hope one day.
he's like, maybe one day. But, and of course, look at all the cool stuff that's in there. We got the Evolve, Vault resources, all that stuff in there. I mean, Matt has done, and I keep telling him this all the time, he's done a wonderful job of the website. So yes, check it all out. I'm telling you, it's a cool layout. There's stuff you can do in there. I mean, hell, I feel like we should just have a video game in there somewhere. Maybe we should just develop something in there just to maybe.
Well, when you figure out how to write a video game app,
Okay.
then we'll
Okay, I'll you know what I'll do. I'll tell ChatGPT to tell me, and I'll write it for you, and then I'll put it in there for you. Okay.
All right, so I did want to start with small talk because there's been a lot of talk, and I don't know how much you know about Supergirl, which is
A little.
It's
a little
popular in the news right now because people are, and this is one thing that drives me crazy. Like, why can't we just have a movie where we don't talk about the character's sexuality?
bit.
And
Here we go.
before, I even say anything, it's not me bashing a woman-led movie.
Nope, because we've definitely talked about some movies like that. But yes.
I absolutely support women-led movies, black-led movies, whatever the lead is. It doesn't fucking matter to me. What matters is, why are we still trying to put a sexuality on these characters when who gives a fuck? Like, you know what I mean? This is just what I'm saying. Like, I don't really care if Supergirl fucks squirrels. I really don't care.
Matt, tell me what really grinds your gears.
It just-
It's like,
I don't care if she's hooking up with dudes, hooking up with men, like women, kids. I really don't care,
well,
dude.
maybe the last part.
But
kids thing,
the point is, I really don't care. All I want to see her doing is Supergirl things, like superhero things. Like, that's all I really want to see in this movie. Like, I really don't care about Supergirl's sexuality. Like, I'm not walking in the movie theater going, I wonder if she's bisexual or if she's straight lesbian. Like, that's not what I'm walking into this. If I walk into this movie, like, that's not my first thought.
So I will say this. I do agree with the fact that, Hollywood is definitely, and we've said this for many of times, that they like to over-sexualize things that doesn't need to be happening. And so,
Right.
especially where female-led movies in this case, when I think of another example is like Wonder Woman, right? Right? Because think of it, no offense, she's a sex symbol in some ways.
Because she belongs to this, like, tribe. I guess you can call them a tribe, like
Amazonians.
of Amazonian women. Like, they all have to be lesbians. Like,
No, they're definitely not. I mean, first off, they're definitely not. It doesn't say, well, I mean, look at freaking Wonder Woman. Even in the comics, she was liking a guy. I mean, does that mean that every single one of them doesn't have to feel a certain way? Do they have to be a lesbian? Do they have to be heterosexual? It doesn't matter, because that's not point of the story. The whole point of the story is that it was, Wonder Woman, fell in love with another man that just so happened to fall onto this island that they were living on. Now with Supergirl, I mean, for God's sakes, I mean, granted, she's technically older than, Superman, I guess if you want to call it like that. But you look at how, in this case, I know she's portrayed a lot younger in the
Yes.
sense, but in the sense of like Supergirl as like a character, sure, I mean, she's probably in her 20s, like in the sense of like, what, we would think of like human stuff, but like she could have a relationship. I mean, it doesn't matter in the sense of what we're doing here, but does it have to be the drive of the story? No, because like you're saying is that with Supergirl, it doesn't matter if she's in a
Yeah,
relationship or not.
it's like I honestly could care less. And I don't think like it has to be one of these things like within the first 5 minutes of the movie, we have to have it thrown right in our face. Like, oh, she's a lesbian. That's cool. Like, and then it's like repeated over and over. Like, I just don't think like it's not what I would walk into a Supergirl movie like wanting.
Right.
Like, all I want to do is see her doing the stuff that Supergirl does.
Right.
And if she has a relationship, great. Like, show it. But it doesn't have to be what makes her character her.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care that she's a woman. I don't care if she dates women or if she dates guys or whatever. If she dates aliens, who cares? Like,
Right.
all I want her seeing is beating the crap out of people and saving the day.
Correct.
That's it.
I agree.
And I don't think it has to be any more complicated than that. Like, I understand society pushes for these things, and even maybe the studio at some level like would be like, well, if we want to reach this like particular population of people, like we have to do this. Like, just come on.
Just knock this shit off.
Just come on. This is why your movies fail, is because you keep trying to push these things, and hello, the fan base doesn't like it.
Well, and not only that, I mean, it just gets to a point where we don't, again, when we're talking even like Marvel, DC, whatever, when we're looking at the characters, we don't give a shit whether they're in a relationship or not. I mean, granted, sure, in Marvel, when you're talking about like Cap and let's say like Black Widow or something like that, oh, there's some love interest. They're kind of, sort of, but not really. I mean, it was really Peggy Carter, but that didn't really matter anyways. That was just kind of like what it was, but that wasn't the main story. That was just like a little side thing. That was just if it was going to happen, but that wasn't the main story of what was going on in the whole.
Right.
But, and I agree with Supergirl where, like you said, there needs to be more narrative. There needs to be, something going on. Because if it's all about a fucking relationship, then yeah, no wonder why it's not going to fucking work. Because how many movies do you see that are like that? And it's like we're not wanting to see that. We're wanting to see how the fuck is this going to play out in the whole DC universe kind of a deal, and how is this going to work? Because if this is the master plan, if we're just going to say, hey, well, Supergirl's got to be married, or she's got to do this, she's got to be a lesbian, she's got to, date a fucking blind crippled guy. Like, well, that's just kind of weird. But I'm just saying, like, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It really shouldn't.
Well, she's really an asexual, non-gender identifying.
Like, first of all, when the fuck
What the fuck are you talking about?
When did this happen? Can you explain? Actually, you know what? I want you to pull out the comic books. Does it actually
Non-gender confirming asexual? What the hell does that mean?
Well, first of all, where does it say that in the comic books? Because I guarantee you, there's nowhere that it ever said that once.
Yeah, I don't know. It just we need Hollywood to just like instead of like we have our MAGA thing, which is like make America geeky again.
Right.
Movie, we should just have like what's like MMEA, which is make movies entertaining again. Like,
oh, is that what you want to? You know what? There you go, Matt.
make movies entertaining. Like, I don't understand. You have a fan base. This is where Star Wars has fallen off the planet.
Yep.
I mean, maybe with Mandalorian and Grogu, they've earned some
points back.
Some points back, but like when you make this shit like Acolyte, and you realize like. Hello, 80% of your fan base are probably 17 to 35 male, heterosexual males. If you make this shit that like you're basically your show creator is basically telling your fan base like this show isn't for you, it's for women who are gay. That's what 4% of your fan base. It's like you're basically telling 80% of your fan base like don't bother.
No, actually, you ready?
And that's why the show failed.
No. What it was telling them, man, it was GFY.
Might as well have.
I mean, that's exactly what they were saying. But anyways, I know you're
Yes.
going to talk about Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. So we're talking the evolution of Metal Gear and the birth of stealth gaming. So I think you're looking at Metal Gear, and most people, I think, when you look at that franchise, because it's really a franchise, there's more than one game. You think like Metal Gear started with Metal Gear Solid, which is the one iconic, game that everybody probably has played if you're gaming. But the franchise got popular. It actually began like 1987 on the MXS2, which is a Japanese like console. And the craziest thing is like stealth gameplay happened entirely by accident because the hardware of the MSX2 couldn't handle huge firefights or lots of enemies on screen. So Kojima at the time, he built this game around avoiding combat instead of encouraging it. Like it was just that technical limitation, right? Like
So Metal Gear exists because the hardware basically said, absolutely not. You're not shooting all these people. And then it's like the gaming version of failing successfully, right? And so like imagine if the hardware was stronger and Metal Gear might have been Call of Duty before Call of Duty. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it sounds weird to me because like it's crazy that he decided to make his own game system to then say, you know what? We can't do that.
Well, and the fact that like, well, the system cannot handle firefights or fighting or all these enemies on the screen at the same time. So we're going to build this game around sneaking around them. And it's when you're playing Metal Gear Solid, like you are basically like you don't want to hear that like alert. You don't know the alert, but Metal Gear and Metal Gear Solid, like it brought it to a massive audience, and it was more fun trying to figure out the ways to move around people when they were, they were doing their patrols, and you could see like that cone of where they could see in your, you could walk right by somebody and you're playing this game. I did this a lot. Like you're walking right by him and it's like, how does this guy not know that I'm walking right behind him? Like,
well, I felt like the footsteps, right? Wouldn't you like, you walk towards them like if you were like
you would leave actual footprints when it was raining. I know that. Like,
yeah. But I'm talking about like, let's say you're in a building, right? And then, like, because I know like they only had a certain amount of line of sight, and like I know you could like hide it behind a trash can, and like you're like
you pop into your cardboard box and they couldn't see you.
This cardboard box that imagine like nobody could see you all of a sudden. It's like
where did this cardboard box come from? Like,
and what was it coming out of your fucking ass? Like what's going on here? Like how are you getting this thing all the way folded up and then you have to like fold it up again? Like I don't understand this.
So I guess like the question would be like if the MSX had been more powerful, does Metal Gear not become a stealth-based franchise?
That's a tough question, man. I mean, I feel like, if let's say it was successful, right, and let's say that it was if it could handle firefights. The one thing I never liked about Metal Gear, and this is maybe it's just I feel like certain games need to have certain angles, right? So when you're literally looking down. Maybe I just don't like looking down, like if like you're playing God. Like maybe that's just what it is because like every time when you're playing the game, like you can't. It's not like you're seeing them because like it'll change the angles because I know like if you go around a corner, it might change the camera angle because it's based off of the cameras, and I get all that. But it's just weird because you're looking at so many different angles and it's like I don't know. Like I feel like. Maybe it could have been successful if they got rid of the fucking cameras. You know what I mean? Because like if you were doing it as like a first-person shooter in this game. Maybe. Maybe it would have been a little different, but I know that because it was based off the cameras and the angles and trying to figure out like where you're at
Right.
versus them, I get that's why this game became popular in the sense of that. But
Yeah.
it would be different if it was like you were looking like in most, like if you were thinking like Call of Duty or like some of the other ones, like in some of the campaign missions, like that's how I would think. And that's
Well, I mean, obviously the design and was so that you could see the people. I mean, if you're in first person, you can't really see like where they're coming around, but it was
Right.
really so you could see the room or the area that you were in. But I mean, when you're talking Metal Gear Solid, and that's kind of the game that I think of because the other one literally was a top down
right. It was all
game. It was pixels and yeah.
Yeah.
But Metal Gear released in 1998. And this game actually featured like the full voice acting, the cinematic cutscenes. It had some great characters. The stories, the story for this game, was about war. It was about genetics. It was about nuclear weapons. And for a lot of gamers who were playing this game, like it was kind of like the first time that you felt truly like you were playing a movie. And it kind of like was that proof that like games could tell that's like that high level of a story. You know
so.
what I mean?
I mean, so like in this case, right? So meanwhile, my parents walked into a room during a 45-minute cutscene and asked if I was actually playing a game. Because then like Metal Gear, like you're saying, was the first game where you needed snacks for the story, not the gameplay. I mean, it's
Sort of like playing The Last of Us.
or hold on, ready? No, in your case, it'd be like Spider-Man or
Fucking Spider-Man, yeah.
or some of the other games that it's.
I don't think Metal Gear is that bad, but but definitely like when you're walking around and you hear that ring 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 like that that Kodak like noise. It was like, oh come on, now I'm just gonna I'm gonna have to fucking wait here until they stop talking.
Yeah, because that I was thinking of the alert. It was like it was like that very loud like
yeah.
It's like
that's actually a really good.
Was it really good? I didn't know if that was good. He's like, hold on, let me record that.
But I mean, some of these weird mechanics, and I do want to talk about there was one enemy, one boss in Metal Gear Solid, and this guy was named Psycho Mantis, and
yeah, here we go.
if you played other Kojima games, I think like you talking Final Fantasy maybe? Like
I'd have to look that one up because I don't really know what else
you're playing a lot of like the games that were made by the same company. Psycho Mantis would literally read what was on your memory card and make comments in the game. And one of the other components to this particular villain is if you had your controller like you normally would plugged into number 1,
yeah,
you could not hit this boss at all. He would already anticipate what you were going to do based on how you were playing the character on the controller. So you literally had to unplug your controller from 1 and plug it into 2 so that he could not read your controller.
So imagine this, right? So imagine explaining that boss fight to somebody today, right? So imagine if you're telling, let's say, a 14-year-old kid playing Fortnite or something like that, and you're saying, hey, by the way, if you had this thing called a memory card, and it's going to read all of this stuff, and you can't face it because of the fact that it knows what games you're playing, and the fact that you have to switch your port. Wait, that means you actually had to have a wired controller because there wasn't really a thing called wireless at the time, and you had to switch it from one port to the other, right? And then so the man literally roasted your save files also.
Yeah, so he would basically scan your save data and like say you play Castlevania. That's a Konami game.
Oh, see, that's what I was wondering if it was Konami games or
he will read your save data, and in the game he would be like, "You like to play Castlevania, don't you?" And you're like, "What the fuck?" Because
Well,
all of a sudden it's like, what? And then like,
yeah, I didn't realize like Silent Hill, for example, was another one.
yeah, so he will comment on that, and like in the game he'll challenge you to place your controller on the floor, and then he will literally move it with the rumble feature of the controller.
Yeah, that's
And part of this boss is he reads your controller because it's plugged into port 1, and he will dodge all of your attacks. So to beat him, you need to pause the game, unplug from port 1 and plug it into port 2, and then all of a sudden he freaks out in the game because he can't read your mind anymore.
ah.
So that is how you would beat him, but it's just the mechanics were so weird because although when you're listening to, when you're hearing like, yeah, you can hide in a cardboard box, you're like, how does that work? You just pull it out of your, like you said, you pull it out of your ass, and it's like,
It's like, oh, here it is.
but you could pick up, you had a pack of cigarettes,
Right.
as part of your inventory, and the cigarettes were for a purpose because in some rooms or some areas there were laser beams that you had to either like jump over or you had to avoid them, and the only way you could see the laser beams was to smoke cigarettes because of the smoke,
See,
but it would affect your health.
well, here's the thing, right? So only Kojima would turn smoking into a skill tree. I mean, and then, right, and so most games, reward smoking because it looks cool. But Kojima said, "Here's lung damage too." While we're at it,
Yeah,
and
it
then
affected your health.
right, and then of course that's surprisingly responsible for a game where a ninja fights a giant walking tank. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's all good. Now, the other thing I was going to mention about Psycho Mantis real quick is that it's weird because, of course, this is the one time you would. I kind of think of like Deadpool with like breaking the fourth wall, but in this case, he was.
I don't know of any other boss fight in a game that has done this
No, but
on
I
this
mean,
level.
well, no, it's weird because he's actually breaking into your house. He's breaking into your memory, and it's like, stop! Like, just get out of
Yeah.
my place, you weirdo.
Right. So yeah, the other thing about weird mechanics was the alert system.
Oh boy, yeah, you do
Because-
that. Woo!
'Cause- How you just
Gotcha.
I can't, dude.
I know it's not that, but I think that's what it should have been. What is it? What is this, like Home Improvement?
It sounds like home improvement. But no, the alert system, I think it created panic. Like as soon as you heard it, you're like, oh shit, I gotta hide. And then you tried to get in the cardboard box. And then like they would just kick it over and you're like, oh fuck. I gotta kill him.
Yep. And you got to kill him really quick, and
But
then you got to hide him.
You generally didn't start with like a regular pistol. You just had like the tranquilizer pistol.
Oh, yep.
So you would put them to sleep, and then you would see like the little Z's over their heads.
Yeah, and he's like, that's cool. That's fine. We'll just do that.
But you can instantly see like the influence of Metal Gear when you start listing some of the games later on. Like we have Hitman, Arkham Asylum was some. I mean, some of the stealth concepts for a lot of those Batman games.
Oh, yep.
Splinter Cell was a huge one.
I figured as much.
There's a few other games that are not on here. I want to say Thief.
Oh, yep. I remember Thief, but I never actually played it. No.
Out of it, I think of all these games, I think Splinter Cell was probably the biggest game that expanded on that kind of stealth gameplay because you were playing like these infiltrators and you had to sneak around, or if you got caught, basically your mission would be over.
Well, basically, this franchise basically left fingerprints on everything, as we're all saying. It's crazy to think that, for example, like Metal Gear walked so half the gaming industry could crouch. Just because it took it, like when we've talked about games in the past about what has really changed the gaming culture or history of the industry itself. The fact that this franchise literally helped create stealth games
On accident.
mind you, back in the 80s, and then, of course, late 90s in this case. It's just, like, for example, right? So it's like you don't realize how much Metal Gear influenced gaming until you start listing games and accidentally name half your library.
Yeah,
I mean, literally, we've talked about some of
you
them so far,
can
but
you can look at like the Hitman games, and most of that is built around like observation. Like you're watching people, and you eventually will just like assassinate some butler guy, and then you're all of a sudden wearing his clothes, walking around walking around the house, trying
right,
not to get caught.
right.
Like
I
that
mean,
was the whole thing. And
well, here's another random thing. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but like I did buy because I know PS5 did remaster like Hitman and like some of the other series of games. They've actually been. It is weird. They actually started to introduce like new targets. One of them was Eminem. Another one was Wiz Khalifa recently.
wow,
Like they just started randomly throwing people in there, and I'm just like, this is kind of weird. I don't know why we're bringing in random people like this, but I'm just saying, like when you talk about a game or a franchise that has created a phenomenon and has brought it to literally a level where everyone's taking the same idea and putting it into their games, and some of these games are pretty, I would say, legendary in the sense of like knowing the names of these. If you can't, if people say I never, I never really played Metal Gear. I remember watching. See, I never. I did play a little bit, but like I really watched my dad play, and I mean I remember sitting there, and every time that alert system would go off, I was like, oh shit, we gotta run, we gotta hold on, we gotta make that cardboard box on, hold on, oh, you can't see me now, nope, you can't see me, John Cena, like it's just you would get it so immersed into it, and then you're right. I mean, then you would sit there for 45 minutes going, oh, all right, Colonel, can you hurry the fuck up and stop talking to me for 2 seconds? Or that other dude, it was like he was the blonde guy. I'm trying to remember his name. He was like, I don't know if it was, I know you're probably going to talk about another guy, but I can't remember his name, but like he was also another one that was talking with that colonel or general, whatever the hell it was. And they would like consistently talk with Snake and all the time. And then you go, shut the fuck up. Can I just play the damn game?
well, one of the things too, and this is like you can see this mechanic almost in every game that has some kind of stealth in it, was the wall knock. This was Metal Gear Solid, and probably like a lot of these where your character would hug the wall, and you would kind of sit like on a corner, and you would do the knock, and then you would run around the other side so that the guy that you were watching this whole time would come to, huh? Like, what do? Huh? And then the instead of turning red and you get the huh, like that.
So we're gonna start
Before you get the alert, you usually get the orange, which just means like they're searching for you. So when you did they would go, huh? And then they would try to find you, and you would be able to like kind of walk around behind them. And that was where I was saying like, how could you be that dumb where you're just like walking around and you hear a noise, and then I'm running directly behind you, and your footsteps were louder too, I think, in that game, where you had to like just walk normal, where if you were running you would hear the of your feet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, I think going on to the fall of an empire.
I'm going to tell you the name of that character in a minute.
Which one? The one I was talking about before, the blonde guy?
Yes.
All right. So yes, the fall of an empire, right? Kojima, Konami, and the future of Metal Gear, right? So with this being said, we're going to talk about real quick the Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Probably one of the newer, or the newest of them all, right? So it was released in September of 2015, widely praised for gameplay and open world freedom, and it was criticized for story pacing and missing narrative conclusions, right? So the reason why fans, they point to the, why it feels kind of unfinished is because Eli, who's a young liquid snake, escapes with, I didn't realize this was a name, Salanthropus. That's an interesting name. I didn't know that. My bad. Escapes with Sa. There we go. And that storyline never properly concludes, right? So,
yeah, I mean, it goes nowhere.
Right. And so Mission 51, right? The Kingdom of Flies.
That was cut.
Right. Cut from the final game.
Yeah.
So then Konami later released footage of the unfinished mission and a bonus documentary. Oh, that's great.
Oh, great.
And then the game reuses several missions late in the campaign instead of offering new story content. And then the ending leaves several narrative threads unresolved. It sounds like a lot of movies or games in general that they like to do that with.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can look at what, whether it was Konami or whether it was Kojima or just, intentional design. I don't know how you can intentionally design Eli's storyline going nowhere or that Mission 51 getting cut and, the whole second half of the game reusing the same missions. How you can call that intentional design, I don't know, but it is one of the biggest debates, I think, for Metal Gear fans.
Right.
It just, I mean, the whole game just feels like it wasn't quite finished properly.
Well, right. And so some fans believe that Konami forced the game out early, right? And others argue that Kojima's vision was always intentionally fragmented because the game's central theme was phantom pain and loss. So, here's the real question, right? So with Kojima, with the whole fallout with Konami, what actually happened was, of course, back in 2015, it completely collapsed, right? So signs, where the Kojima Productions branding was quietly removed from marketing. His name was being removed from the box art. Reports surfaced that Kojima and senior staff were restricted in communication and internet access. That's crazy. I didn't realize you can have restricted internet access. That's great. Kojima also was reportedly unable to attend the Game Awards of 2015 to accept the Metal Gear Solid 5's awards, which that's interesting. I mean, I don't know why that would be the case, but of course. So why did it happen, right? So neither side has fully ever explained everything publicly. Interesting. Of course they don't, because why would you? Why would you in this case? So Konami's position, right? So this is what they're saying. This AAA development costs were skyrocketing. Kojima's projects routinely went over budget. Yeah, right. That's like every other fucking game or movie. And then Konami wanted to focus on here's a good one, mobile games, right? And wanted to put, this is interesting, mobile games, pachinko machines, and less risky business ventures. Right.
Right.
Right. Whatever you say. Now, here's Kojima's position, right? This is what people are thinking, right? Wanted creative freedom. Well, no shit. I mean, I feel like that would be everybody, right? And then preferred large-scale cinematic development. You don't say, Kojima. You don't say. And then had increasingly ambitious, there we go, projects. Now, here's the thing, right? When you're looking at like Death Stranding, I know that game is a very movie-based game. I know that. I haven't played the game, but I know it's very movie-based, and I get it. That is his baby, his newer baby. But I'm just saying, sure, maybe you wanted to do all these things. Maybe you wanted to make it so that way, because of your creative freedom, you wanted to make this ambitious project to make it, hopefully better than what Konami was doing. I don't know. I think both sides.
It's one of those things like the real life irony is kind of perfect, because when you look at the entire Metal Gear series, it's about ideas surviving after the creators are gone,
right?
And whether systems can preserve someone's vision. You look at any one of the games, that is the idea. Like whether these ideas can survive after the creators are gone and the systems can preserve that person's vision.
Right.
And then real life happened and Konami inherited Metal Gear after Kojima left. And now fans are asking the same question, whether Metal Gear can survive after Kojima has left, and whether the franchise itself can still preserve Kojima's vision.
Well, here's another thing. I always think of think about all these other developers that, I'm trying to think of one exactly. I remember certain bigger, people that were part of Activision or Blizzard or a few others. And they decided to go from let's say Call of Duty or Elder Scrolls or whatever. And then they completely do something different. And they make this other game that rivals this. Kojima was doing the same thing. I know he left and then he decided, hey, I'm gonna do better than what Konami's doing. The problem is that especially where it's like you basically have the Holy Grail in front of your face, and you're saying, okay, we got to make this go in. Like, this makes sense, blah, blah, blah. You do all this. And then this, like, they both were like, oh, it's too much money. We can't do this. We can't. No. You literally just lost all of it. I said, because this one guy had this vision.
Yeah.
And you just lost, and you said, fuck you. And we're not doing this anymore because now it's too much money. Bitch, I'm going to tell you something. You better give this man some money, because if clearly he's making you money, why would you let him leave? Why would you do all this? And that's the part where it frustrates me, Matt, because if you literally have, it's like, for me, like when I look at Endgame, yes, I know, I like bringing this up. You had two directors, brothers, mind you, who made the second best selling movie of all time. Okay?
Yeah.
If you're telling me they can't direct any more movies after that, that's bullshit, because that made you a lot of fucking money.
Well, I mean, you can compare Kojima leaving as the same thing as, like, what if George Lucas had left during when he was making the original trilogy?
Oh, I know. I'd shit.
I mean, you can say it now, like George Lucas, like leaving Star Wars in Disney's hands. It feels like the same thing. Like, it is actually the exact same
same thing.
conversation.
No,
like,
it is, and it's bullshit, because then you're like, okay, let's see how well you're going to do, and then you make this game Phantom Pain, and you're like, what the fuck is this shit?
I mean,
Like-
George Lucas was making something really great. He had a vision, and all of a sudden, like, you give it to Disney, and they're like, yeah, we're just going to take a big shit on it. And, like,
And by the way, all your ideas, they suck.
you can shine a turd, but at the end of the day, it's still a fucking turd.
And guess what?
Right.
It ain't going to change a goddamn thing.
And I mean, I know you're going to be talking about Metal Gear Survive, but that game was not Metal Gear at
No.
all.
No, it's not.
It missed the point. Like, I don't know.
So, yeah, Metal Gear Survive, right? So why was it rejected, right? So it was released in 2018. Interesting. So the premise was, instead of a tactical espionage, right? So it's zombie-like creatures, alternate dimensions, base defense mechanics.
How is that the same fucking game?
No, it's not. I mean, first of all, zombie-like creatures. Then I don't know why it just came to my main brain.
My main brain.
My main brain. It reminds me of, what is that? What's that stupid game on? I think it's on Xbox. It's like the Plants vs Zombies thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's I don't know why this brought me to that, but then so we have
It's like the Walmart Resident Evil.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so the problem is that many fans saw it as a cash grab in
you
a
don't
game, right? In a game using Metal Gear assets without understanding Metal Gear's identity. Well, no shit, because the guy who created the damn game isn't there to see it through.
Well, I mean, if you look at it as just a game, if you take the Metal Gear out of the whole equation, it wasn't a bad game in general. It was a bad Metal Gear game for sure, because when you look at the franchise, like, Metal Gear Survive just completely missed the point. And you look at the franchise, and like I said before, it's always been about war. It's been about politics, information control. You suddenly replace all of that crap with zombie crystals and survival crafting. Like, what are we doing here?
What kind of shit are we talking
What are
about
we
here?
doing here? It just wasn't Metal Gear.
No. So, yes. So right now, like we're already answering this. Can Metal Gear exist without Kojima? For argument's sake, no. Because Kojima wasn't just a director. He was the writer, producer, designer, casting influence, the tone setter. His literal fingerprints were everywhere. Not just in one spot, in everything, right? So Metal Gear's identity comes from fourth wall breaks, long philosophical conversations, yeah, they were, weird humor, conspiracy theories, anti-war messaging, and dense political storytelling, right? So here's a famous example. Nobody else would create a boss fight where the villain literally dies of old age if you wait a week. That's peak Kojima. Like
I said, when you're playing that 1998 game, you're, the villains are so iconic. You have, Revolver Ocelot, and he was like such a like an interesting character. He was a gunslinger. You have your Liquid Snake, you have your, all these characters, they were just so iconic. And you put in like what Psycho Mantis was doing to your system, dodging all of your attacks no matter what button you were pressing on your controller, being able to rumble it on his own, and to be able to say what you were playing for games based on your save data on your own memory card. So like if I played different games than you, he would be commenting differently for me than he would for you.
Right.
There is not another game that I've ever played, and I've played a lot of games since I was like, what,
A wee lad?
7, 10, whatever age. I mean, I played the original Nintendo. I played, other outside of I guess like Atari, but there wasn't really characters in Atari games. But you're playing all these games, and like I don't ever remember any kind of character or a boss fight or any kind of fight in a game where I had to unplug my controller from the first port into the second port because I could not beat the enemy if I didn't. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
there's no other villain like these Kojima, characters, and it's like, could it? I don't know. I mean, it would be a different game altogether.
Well, and this is the hard part, right? So for the arguments for yes, right, versus the no, right? So here's the counterpoint. Many legendary franchises survive creator departures, right? So for examples like The Legend of Zelda, Resident Evil, God of War, right? A talented
I could agree with God of War, but Resident Evil, really?
Well, I'm just saying. It's just like a talented team can preserve like the core gameplay, themes, characters, world building. But see, the challenge isn't replacing Kojima. It's understanding what makes Metal Gear Metal Gear. And so in the sense of that, it's
I can get that.
wait, well, hold on. Wait, what's the theme, man? Follow the damn
Right.
blueprint.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, we've talked about it so many times. I mean, they literally have it. I mean, all you got to do is look at what Kojima did in the original games and fucking follow it through.
I just don't know about Resident Evil, to be honest. I mean, when you go from Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2, maybe you can make an argument for 3. You're actually, I mean, the whole gameplay wasn't necessarily killing zombies, but you have zombies in the game, and you go to what they're releasing nowadays, and you're in a village of weirdo people.
Oh, you mean like Biohazard?
It's just they're not zombies; they're just fucking weirdo people.
Oh, I mean, Biohazard, I feel like that was where they really started to get weird.
Right?
It's like that was where it really started to get.
Yeah, it
Creepy.
just I don't know. It was different, I guess. I don't know.
No,
That's just me.
I agree with you, but I mean, moving forward here, yeah, Metal Gear Delta Snake Eater. Why does this matter? Right? So Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is essentially Konami's biggest test, right? So what fans liked about it versus what they feared about it, right? So what they liked about it was that the faithful creation or recreation of Metal Gear Solid 3, the original voice performances, modern graphics, Unreal Engine 5 visuals. Is what they feared, though. The changes to the script, the loss of atmosphere, over modernization, missing Kojima's creative touch. So here's basically an observation, right? So Konami chose a remake rather than a brand new story. That alone may suggest that they understand how risky a new Kojima-less Metal Gear would be. So the thing is that fans noticed this. They knew that this shit was going to happen. And they already knew this, but the thing is like Konami was like, oh, let's not push the edge.
It's sort of like they must have been walking around while they were designing this game and writing it, being like, what would Kojima do? What would Kojima do?
They probably did.
What would Kojima do in this? And it's like,
you're
would
like-
you stop fucking doing that and just look at your goddamn franchise and
Wait.
follow the damn blueprint?
There we
Like,
go. Follow
the
shit.
damn blueprint, and from what made other Metal Gear games so iconic, and just update and write new stories based on those original. I mean, you have so much fucking material.
Right. And be a little creative with it. Do something with it.
It's you try to push these Metal Gear, and they're like, well, I think Kojima would go in that direction, and you totally don't understand the dude, clearly, because you make a game like survival. Like,
Wait, hold on, Matt. So are you saying they were, I'm going to say it, were they pussyfooting around?
yeah, I would definitely say so. I mean, you can't even match like the original feeling of the games, and you're trying to try to make a remake instead of doing a brand new story, and how do you fuck up that?
Well, I don't know, because apparently they did. They made it hard. They made it harder for people to want to play the game. I mean, because again, when you're basically remaking this, like I can understand. Well, hold on. I will say this: I can understand why remaking a game like for like nostalgic purposes. Maybe let's just not do Last of Us and do it like 3 fucking times, for 3 different systems. But if you wanted to recreate it and do that, and if you say, hey, this is just Metal Gear Solid 3, that's fine. But basically you're saying, oh, this is a new game, but just kidding. It's actually a remake, and we're not going to try to push any like new storylines or any of this shit. Then what's the point of making the game? Unless you just want to call it a remake. I mean, that's just me, because, why would you call it something else?
So right now, and I know you're going to talk about Konami, but Kojima actually has his own studio called Kojima Productions. He is the guy that basically had made Death Stranding and Death Stranding 2.
Well, yeah, I knew that. Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. Like, I knew that was his baby. Like, that's his new venture. Like, that's what he's been working on. And of course,
right.
I was about to say it's Lee's favorite person that's who's playing this character. No, I'm just joking. He's like, that's just an inside joke. It's fine.
Yeah.
So should really Konami, keep making Metal Gear? The franchise is too important to disappear. But here's the thing, right? Metal Gear helped.
They go back to what they were doing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, so again, if it helped define again the stealth games, the cinematic storytelling, boss fight design, video game narratives, right? Millions of fans love the universe, so that's great. But here's the thing about not doing it is because every new entry risks damaging the legacy, right? And so some fans would rather have 5 masterpieces and a clean ending instead of 20 increasingly diluted sequels. I mean, I agree. I mean, if you had a good run. Like if you had these solid games and then say, hey, you know what, we're going to remake them, or not remake them, but like remaster them, for like now, right? Like for PS5 or whatever else. That's fine. Cause I agree. I definitely agree. If I had a good solid game and there's no reason to redo everything and to keep making the storyline, I would do that, because then I could just, remaster it. Oh, it's the 25th edition. Okay, cool. There you go. And then throw it in. That's fine. But if you're saying, hey, I got to keep making them, look at Final Fantasy. Look at Final Fantasy.
I mean, I don't even play Final Fantasy that much, but
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And of course, my notes just disappeared on me. So hold on one second. Oh, God. Why is this happening to me? All right, keep talking, Matt.
Well, I mean, I can go off your notes because I have them open. So, yeah, I mean, you're talking about the Metal Gear's greatest irony, and we kind of talked about it a little bit, but the entire series warns against these institutions controlling ideas, information being inherited without understanding, systems outliving their creators. And like we had talked about before, it happened in real life. Konami inherited Metal Gear after Kojima left, and now, we ask can Metal Gear's memes and ideas survive after the creator who passed them on is gone? And
No.
I say no.
I'm going to say no too.
Yeah.
But here's, because now I have them back up. So here's the ultimate question, right? If Hideo Kojima announced tomorrow that he was returning to make one final Metal Gear game, would you want it? Or do you think that the franchise already had the perfect ending and we're the ones refusing to let it go?
In a new age console, if he made the game, yes. If Konami was like, hey, we're making this game and it's like you're playing Final Fantasy and you're doing weird shit, like, no.
No, I agree. I think if he was to return to make one final one, that would be different. If it was them, saying, like you said, like if Konami was the one that were doing it and they were making
Yeah,
some
if they
weird
make
shit,
if they make it something that's like Ghost Recon or Breakpoint, like that's probably how it would be. You'd have this huge, massive open world, and
right.
you're playing Solid Snake, who's probably like 85 at this point.
Well, yeah, I mean,
like,
you're right, because in Phantom Pain, I mean, he was old as shit at that point.
yeah.
Yeah.
If he was doing the game, sure. But
No,
I digress.
I know, but like that's the thing, though. I mean, I feel like if you're think about all like different types of movies where like the first movie's great, and then like the sequels and the whatever, like the prequels and all this stuff, they don't hit the original, right? And so I feel like if you already have a good solid foundation, unless you're getting the guy back that actually created all this, absolutely not. I wouldn't even bother. I would just say, you know what, let's remaster it. Because you could you could take the original gameplay, put it in Unreal Engine, whatever, and make better graphics out of it. That's great. Go for it. But other than that, do not fucking do another game.
Yeah. All right. So we get into some wild lore, clones, conspiracies, and some complete insanity from Metal Gear. Some of the things, and these a lot are Kojima. Like he did a lot of this for these games, and I mean, Metal Gear in itself is a pretty grounded military espionage story. You're infiltrating, enemy compounds, or I think on, Metal Gear Solid, you're actually on a ship most of the time. Or at least part of the time you're on a ship.
Yep.
Somewhere along the way, it gives us psychic soldiers, cyborg ninjas, vampires, possessed arms, nanomachines. You got clones. And imagine this, in 98, you had AI secretly controlling the world. How about that?
Huh. And so for me, this is the amazing thing, right? It isn't that the stuff that exists; it's the fans somehow understand it. Like it's just like
I mean, when you're playing the game, like it made sense because like somehow it like the game had this weird humor to it,
right?
And it pushed that insanity a little bit further, and each game loses that sight of the core themes. It's war, identity, and control. I mean, we already talked about Psycho Mantis. He was the psychic who can read mind. He breaks the fourth wall. I'm not going to go into that because we already talked about it. But you had Gray Vox. He was a cyborg ninja. He was one of the coolest characters, I think, in the game. And one of the, I guess, like the big groups was Voxhound. Like that was who you communicated with.
Oh, yep.
And in Metal Gear Solid, he, does return as Gray Vox, which he is this like cyborg ninja, and he was born from this graffiti, is what I'm reading. But he's like throughout the game, he's like this kind of hidden. You don't really know who he is. He's like this faceless deep throat character. I didn't say he deep throated.
Well,
I'm saying
you paused there for a second. Like
in the
deep throat.
game, he is this like he's this contact. You don't see his face. He's that's what the deep throat is. It's Look it up, guys.
I'm sorry. It's just every time you pause. it's like,
Actually,
Deep Throat.
don't look up Deep Throat.
Please don't.
No. He provides Snake with cryptic advice through the codec, and yeah, I mean, he's just he's a cool character. He's like that cyborg ninja, and vamp. He's a immortal vampire who ends up being explained. He's like, it's nanomachines that make him kind of this like immortal vampire type character. And the Patriots, they were the AI system that were manipulating world events. So, I mean, you have like all of these, and they're so, I mean, a lot of these characters are so iconic. Revolver Ocelot. I mean, Liquid Snake, which was Eli. Eli was Solid Snake's twin brother.
Yeah.
And you just had like a lot of these cool characters, and at one point, like you have to realize, like you have to just ask, like at one point, did you stop asking questions and just accept that this is normal in Metal Gear?
Well, the scary part is that it isn't how crazy it sounded in 2001. It's how normal it sounds now. Like literally, I mean, a lot of the, I mean, the AI part of this. I mean, hello, what's happening right now, Matt? I mean, what do we have all around us, and what is the one thing that I already know that every time that you chat with ChatGPT here, what's the one thing that I was more worried about for you, that it would come after you because of how you treat it? And I'm like, if you want to talk about the Terminator, guess what? Matt's screwed. He's screwed.
No, yeah. If my Chat GPT ever becomes sentient, I am screwed.
No, he'd be the first one off the list.
Yeah, I'm the first one that's crossed out. Like I am
what
on
happened?
that list. Like
He's like, what happened to Matt? Yeah, he didn't show up to work today.
yeah, he's
He's
gone.
dead. He's dead.
So, Big Boss. And the boss that created the entire mess. So nearly every conflict in the franchise can be traced back to Big Boss. And when we're talking Big Boss, he was known as Naked Snake. I don't know why he got
That's
the
a
name
weird
Naked
name.
Snake, but he was also known as Naked Snake. He was also known as Jack. In Japanese, it was Jakku.
Jakku.
Jakku. He is the main antagonist of Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. He's the main protagonist of the Metal Gear Solid prequel series. He was considered the greatest soldier who ever lived, and he is the genetic father of Solid Snake, Liquid Snake, and Solidus Snake.
Solidist.
Yeah.
I love how Snake has like so many different names attached to it. Naked
So
Snake.
yeah, I mean, Snake loses at one point like all faith in government and nations, and he comes to believe that soldiers are simply tools to be used and discarded, which leads him to create a world where soldiers fight for themselves. Almost every crisis in Metal Gear can be traced back to one man having the worst mentor experience imaginable. So you have, Metal Gear Solid 3, which was a Snake Eater game.
Yep.
That was a turning point that creates Big Boss. Outer Heaven, Zanzibar Land, that was Big Boss's attempt to build a nation for just soldiers. Militaires Sans Fronteras, and Diamond Dog's his evolving vision of what the world should look like. I hate these words. I really, really do. Le Enfant Terrible.
Terrible.
I don't speak French, people.
Terrible.
That's the clone project that creates Solid Snake, Liquid Snake, and Solidus Snake.
So why couldn't there be one called I'm a snake?
I'm a snake. I'm a slithery little snake.
Please. I wish that was around back then.
Yeah.
I'm a slow snake.
I'm a slithery solid snake.
Solid snake. No.
I'm a drippy little liquid snake.
Oh God.
That's gross. I'm sorry. I
He's
did
like,
that,
I'm just gonna deep throat
Yeah.
now.
So the characters are why I think this insanity just works. So as ridiculous as the lore becomes, the reason fans keep coming back is because the characters are just, I think they're really fantastic. I mean, you have, Big Boss, you have Ocelot, Grey Fox, Otacon, which is the guy that you're kind of communicating with most of the time. He's kind of that little like nerdy guy. with the glasses.
Yep.
Raiden, Solid Snake. They all have surprisingly emotional and human stories, despite living in a world filled with giant robots and psychic powers. Right? Like every character has their own philosophy and motivations. It makes the world feel deeper than it should. Like the boss, arguably the most important person in the franchise, despite her limited screen time. Revolver Ocelot is a man who changes sides so often. Like even when you're playing the game, like you don't know what side he's playing because he's playing both in the game. Gray Fox, his sacrifice against Metal Gear Rex remains one of the franchise like defining moments. Raiden went from one of the game's most hated protagonists to like one of the coolest characters. Like, and you kind of have to ask this question, like, which character best represents what Metal Gear is all about? I mean, would have to say Solid Snake because he's like the guy that makes the franchise.
Well, yeah, and he's literally the face of the franchise. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, and it's crazy. The craziest thing about Metal Gear, right, isn't about like the clones, the psychics, the vampires, the giant robots, right? It's that somehow all of this together, it creates one of the greatest stories in gaming history. It really defines what Kojima was envisioning with this game. Now, granted, sure, he didn't make the greatest attempt at first with his game console. But guess what? When he brought it to the PlayStation, I'm telling you, it was like it did a 180 and here we are. I mean, it became a household name. And now, granted, I would say anything past 2015, no. Right.
Yeah.
Anything past 2015, no. But anything before that, if Kojima was there, there you go. There's your Metal Gear. That's how it would work.
Yeah. So, Patriots. I mean, this is like the craziest thing Kojima ever predicted. And we're saying predicted because Patriots were designed to control information, manipulate narratives, decide what people should see and believe. So when Metal Gear Solid 2 released, it sounded absolutely insane. I mean, you're talking about AI. That's what the Patriots were. And I mean, 20 years later, we have social media algorithms, we have misinformation, we have information overload.
I mean,
And so this like feels a lot less like something that was just fictional in a game to something that's like, was he like just warning us so that this was going to happen?
so here's the thing that I think about when it comes to AI, right? So, I mean, AI has been around a long time. You can say otherwise. I mean, yes, we
On some level, yes.
on some level, yes. I mean, when you think about the first computers, I mean, in some ways, AI was. If you think about how computers work, I mean, that's kind of AI in some ways. It's just we're using it now in a different way because now there's apps and there's this and that. Your computers are technically in some way AI. You know, it's just in the same sense. You know, you're looking at this and you're like, okay, well, and I mean, I'm thinking even like Star Trek and a few other things that, you know, they've talked about AI and they've talked about all these other things. And now we're talking about a game that was like, oh, yeah, well, information, you know, controlling of information and doing all this. I mean, if you think about it, and it sucks to say this, think about what propaganda is. It's the control of information. It is literally the same exact thing. I mean, it literally is you controlling the narrative. Guess what these guys were doing? Controlling the narrative of what they wanted people to know. And it's crazy because you're right. I mean, now that we're looking at it in social media and we're looking at it in, you know, everyday life, I mean, shit, I can't tell you how many times I have used ChatGPT to help me with certain things because I want to sound more professional or I want to sound a certain way because and again, we had an episode based off of AI as well. But it's how you use it. And so, like, for their sake, they're using it as a weapon. They're using it as a literal weapon. Now, granted, I mean, AI technically is a weapon in some ways. It just depends on how you use it and how you want to word it. But you're right. I think, you know, Kojima really had a point in saying that, you know, maybe he was warning us. Maybe he was just like, you know what? I'd rather just let people know, by the way, AI is going to be a thing in about 20 or so years.
Yeah, I
You're
mean,
not wrong.
it was really like the Patriots were originally founded as Cipher. They were initially they were a group of people.
Of course they were.
They started as a group of people, and then later those people were replaced by AI,
Hmm.
and they actually ruled the United States in secret. And so that's like that's kind of like what we're
You know,
talking about. And
Matt, I mean, that kind of sounds like what we're dealing with now.
hey, could
Are we
I mean,
are we
so
conspiracy
some
theorists?
examples in the game were AI filtering information and controlling narratives, information overload, so it was making the truth harder to identify, digital manipulation and manufactured outrage,
Hmm.
algorithm determining what people consume and believe.
Hey, Matt, that sounds like right now.
That sounds a lot like right now.
Matt, that's kind of scary. That this is this
So I mean,
happened
that
so
is
many years ago.
I mean, that is the point. The discussion point here is, is Metal Gear actually one of the most prophetic game franchises ever made? You could make an argument,
It's definitely up there.
because this was happening in the game, and all of a sudden you look at this now. I mean, we have AI filtering information and controlling narratives. We have information overload, and you can go on Facebook, you can go on X, you can go on any platform and see this information overload, and you really have to question, like, is this real? Is it not real? Like, how do I identify real news from fake news? It's really tough.
No,
And
it is tough.
this idea of digital manipulation and manufactured outrage, like, you can see videos of things and like you have no idea if it's a deep fake or if it's a real video or
I mean, there are certain signs. There are definitely some videos that you can tell. Like, but yeah, no, there are definitely some that are very realistic to the point where you're like, damn, is that really real or is that like? But like I said, I mean, like right now because AI is still in an early stage where you can definitely tell
you
certain
can definitely
things.
tell. But I mean, I think the biggest thing is you can look at algorithms determining what people consume and believe. You can go on Facebook, you can go on any social media platform.
Mhm.
And if you tell me that there is not an algorithm,
That's bullshit.
I would smack you right in the face because
Hey Matt, there's not an algorithm. He's like smack.
but no, like you could be talking about, I mean, we mentioned Angry Orchard because we're drinking it, and I can guarantee you there's probably going to be an Angry Orchard ad when I open Facebook sometime tomorrow.
You know what? I'm just gonna open it right now and see if I can see it.
But that's the thing. I mean, the algorithms are determining what people are consuming because guess what? If you think your phone is not listening to you, it is. If you think like the devices that you have, like if you have, a Google Home or Siri or something else, like it's listening to you. And this is exactly what was happening in the game. And we're talking games that were early 2000s for the most part.
Yeah. No, I know, and this is like what we're saying is like, when actually I want to think of another example is like The Simpsons. Think about how many times they predicted some of like actual events that were
Right.
happening in that sense. I mean, I know it's a little weird in bringing up a TV show like this, but they're not far off on certain things. But like, yeah, I mean, you're talking about a game where you just didn't think at the time. You're like, oh yeah, no, this won't ever happen. You're crazy.
Oh,
And
you're
like,
fine.
You're fine. Don't worry about
No,
it. Now
come
you're like,
on.
oh shit, this actually. Can you stop reading my mind? At least
Yeah.
I'm. Oh no. At least I'm safe inside my mind. No, you're not.
Not anymore.
No, in the words of Danielle, no, you're not. No,
No, you're not.
no, you're really not. I mean, it's scary. That's the worst part. It's like Psycho Mantis coming into your brain now, and because God forbid it goes into your memory.
Yeah, I
no.
mean, if you could imagine them making another Metal Gear, game and having a boss on a PS5 or like
Oh,
these
God.
next gen consoles,
That would be scary as hell.
like being able to like
Wait, you
like even like things that like probably could happen, like them bringing you all the way back, like you're in the middle of this boss fight and he literally shuts your game down and you're in the main menu now. Like,
Oh yeah.
you're like, well, what the fuck just happened?
Oh no, watch it go. Oh.
And your controller shuts off because
No. So now I'm going to say this. Now I did this as a joke. Okay. So imagine if Psycho Mantis looked at mine. So you know the one game I'm talking about, the one game.
Oh yeah.
So let's just say I played a certain game and he goes, "I see you're a little kinky." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I know what game you're playing, you sicko." And I'm like, "What?"
You sick perv.
No, and it's just like like you said, he goes right to the main menu and he's like, "Go ahead and start up the other game." Say I want to watch you play, and then it's like,
what would be hilarious is if like he mentions it and then all of a sudden that game just opens up and starts playing.
Oh my god, I would be like, "What the hell is going?" But that's what I'm saying. It's crazy that a character was doing that on a PS2. If it did it now, oh my god,
You would be freaked. You'd be like, I ain't not playing this game ever again.
No, I wouldn't. I'd probably throw my fucking PS5 away at that point. I'd be like, "Nope, I'm done. Nope. Can't do it anymore." No, but it's just crazy. I mean, like I said, if Kojima could oh my god, if Kojima could remake that game and help them remake the game for now, oh
Wow.
yeah, I would be like, nope, I'm done. I'm like, we can't play no more Metal Gear, people. Do not play Metal Gear, or it's gonna start doing some weird shit to your PS5. But we've definitely talked about a lot of Metal Gear here, but I'm gonna close it out here. So the real question isn't whether Metal Gear is one of the greatest gaming franchises of all time. The real question is, can Metal Gear continue without Kojima, or was Metal Gear always more than just the games themselves? What do you think, Matt?
I don't know. I mean, I definitely think Metal Gear is one of those franchises that's just iconic, but I think Metal Gear was more than just the games themselves. I mean, I do think like the concept of the games, like when you look at what the games are actually about, it it's more than just games. And I think yes, Kojima had a huge hand in what framing what Metal Gear was. Can it still be at? I don't know.
I mean, we've talked about it already. I mean, with like the debates and stuff. I honestly think that you're right. I mean, Metal Gear was always more than just the games themselves. I think it was an idea, it was a concept that really transcended the gaming, culture. I mean, it really helped define a lot of, like, we were talking about Splinter Cell, we were talking about, Hitman, and we were talking about all these things that helped really push other games to be some of the greatest games, like a part of like gaming, culture. And so I think, unfortunately, you really can't do it without Kojima, because I think when you have a visionary like that, you really can't do it without the guy who really defined the series and the franchise. Because, I mean, we just talked about a Delta, what was it, the Delta Snake Eater? They pussyfoot that game, man. They didn't even take any creative push.
I know,
on it.
and
so
you really, I mean, at this point, if Konami was going to make another Metal Gear game,
don't do it.
I mean, sure, you could use Solid Snake, and you don't have to like, oh well, now he'd be like 94. No, you can go back and write a brand new story, but you have to, like we always say, follow the damn blueprint. You have to like know and understand what made Metal Gear good and great, and you use that as your skeleton, your framework, and you build your house on it. You don't just build the house and then go, well, our foundation was made out of dirt, so now our house is fucked. You know,
sounds like we're sinking into this hole now. But
yeah, you have to build that foundation, and the foundation is what made Metal Gear great. It was the stories. It was what they focused on, like war and the political things, and all these other storylines that they had. It wasn't zombie crystals and weird shit. Like it's none of that crap. And if you're gonna have a storyline, fucking finish the storyline. Don't just be like, yeah, well, this guy, we got lazy.
He just disappeared. That's it. The end.
And we're gonna cut this mission just because,
Who gives
you
a
know,
fuck?
yeah, who cares?
Who cares about this mission? Who cares? But again, you know what? Let us know what you think, right? Like, let us know what your favorite Metal Gear game was, or your favorite character. You know, or do you think that the series even still has a future as a whole, right? You know, so keep following that damn blueprint. And until next time, we'll see you somewhere else in the multiverse.
Stay geeky, 'cause we're geeks from the multiverse.